Yo, boys, what's good? The lighting right now is fucking insane. Oh, shit. Shit just fell. But, guys, I'm in here in this random parking lot, and then I'm just on my phone, recording some stories, and then I hear these people screaming. And it's this couple, right? And the man is literally, like, screaming at his girl. I thought he was gonna slap her. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Am I gonna have to do something about it? And then I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at it from over here, and I'm like, bro, this guy is screaming at his girl at the top of his lungs. How weak is this guy, bro? How weak-minded do you have to be that you're having an emotional outburst on a girl, bro? Does a girl have that much control over your life? And if she does have that much control over your life, you need to self-reflect on, why am I being so affected on the choices that somebody else makes? And it's frustrating because I know what it feels like to be that person, and you like somebody so much, but at the same time you're unhappy with certain things that they're doing. But you need to understand, the moment that you show a lack of the ability of controlling your emotion is the moment you lose. That is the moment you lose in every single aspect. Growing up, everyone always told me I was so emotional. I was always the worst fucking little kid ever. I was a pain to both of my parents. And I feel bad for them. I genuinely do, because I would cry every 5 seconds. If I didn't get what I wanted, I would throw a fit. I remember one time I went to the beach with my whole entire family. We're like 20 deep. We went earlier, and I wanted to see the sunset. And I told everyone, look, no, we have to see the sunset. We have to see the sunset. We have to. The whole entire day, I'm being annoying as fuck to everyone. We have to see the sunset. We have to see the sunset. We have to see the sunset. Just because I wanted to see the sunset. Nobody else wanted to see the sunset but me. And then I ended up throwing a fit. I ended up crying. I ended up doing the most just because nobody else wanted to see the sunset with me. And I've always been the most emotional one out of all my siblings. I mean, I only have one sibling. Out of all my cousins, out of everyone I grew up with, I was always the most emotional person ever. But it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because at the same time, my raw emotions are the reason why I work so hard, and the reason that fuels me to become better on a daily basis. And on the other hand, sometimes it can definitely, sometimes not being able to control your emotions can definitely hinder you. And that's something that I realize. I'm like, okay, the one thing I need to work on, and this is something I still go through to this day, is I need to work on handling my emotions. Because if you cannot control your emotions, how are you going to be able to control anything else in life? How are people going to follow your example if you can't even regulate your emotions? And it's like that emotional outburst that guy did. Me, who I am today, I would never do that ever. Have I done it in the past? No. Honestly, no. I've never had an emotional Have I? No. Not like that. That was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. Okay, yes. No, I've never had an emotional outburst like that, but deep down, when things that would happen would upset me, in my heart, I would feel so much, what's the right word to describe it? So much emotion, like so much, I feel like the best word to describe it is betrayal. I would feel the emotion of betrayal, and I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm just talking about as a whole. When something, a girl would do would upset me, the best way to put it is I would feel like it was betrayal, and then it would upset me so much, but at the same time, I would still control my emotions, because I understood as a man, you have to control your emotions. And if you let the choices of somebody else dictate how you feel, that makes you weak. That makes you weak because you're only supposed to rely on yourself. You're not supposed to rely on anybody else. And then you see these guys that stay in relationships because they're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of being alone, so when they're in the relationship, they start cutting corners and doing whatever she says, and they put their own opinion after hers. So they're putting their girlfriend's opinion over theirs. What do you think that's gonna do to your self-confidence as a man, as somebody who's supposed to be a leader? You are supposed to lead. You are supposed to lead your family. The thing is that how is a woman supposed to accept you as somebody who can lead her if you can't even lead yourself? If you can't even be disciplined yourself? And then too many guys, when they're young, they want to get into relationships when they have nothing of value to accomplish and they have nothing that's actually attractive about them. And then they want to get into a relationship just because they like the girl, just because they have feelings for her. And what does that lead to? It leads to her taking advantage of you, and it leads to you getting hurt. It leads to you being vulnerable. And here's the thing about love, right? When you open yourself to love, you're also opening yourself to being hurt. You're opening yourself to become hurt. So if you are going to open yourself to love somebody, you need to make sure that that person is the right person. But how do you make sure that that right person is the right person? By who are you? Because your partner is a direct reflection of who you are. So if you have a partner right now, or you can't even find a partner that you genuinely want to be with, that's a self-reflection that you have more work to do. Because once you actually develop yourself as a person, the right person is just gonna fall into your lap. And I'm making this video so that when I find that right person for myself, they can see this video and they can understand that I've always had this mindset of becoming better on a daily basis so that I can attract the right person. Because if I can't attract the right person, I'm never going to obtain that person. I'm never going to be with that person, because that's the only way that's the only way it works. As a man, you have to be focused on your purpose. You have to be focused on becoming better. You have to be focused on how can I work on myself on a daily basis. And then that's when you're going to attract the right people in your life. But people have it flipped over. They think that they need to have the right people in their life and then they're going to do it. When in reality, God isolates us before he elevates us. You can't be afraid of being alone. You can't be afraid of being by yourself. Even if you're in a relationship. Look, breaking up with somebody is not easy. It is not easy breaking up with somebody. It was probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to do. But at the same time, I knew that it was just a choice that I had to do in the moment because of the way that my life was turning out. And I knew that if I was still in a relationship today, I wouldn't have made the progress that I've made today. I wouldn't have done it. Because they say that when a man lacks purpose, when a man lacks purpose, he distracts himself with pleasure. And I'm not saying a relationship is only pleasure. There's very beautiful things in a relationship. But what I am saying is that when I personally was in a relationship, I felt like I was distracting myself in so many different ways. And I felt like I was too comfortable. That is the best word to put it. I felt like I was too comfortable and I wasn't making any effort to improve, any effort to become better on a daily basis. And the only difference between you and the person you want to be is effort. Because most people don't even fucking put effort. Most people put in the bare minimum and they don't even try. Let me just make sure the time. All right, bet we're chilling. Most people put in half-ass efforts and then they wonder why they don't live the life that they want. And that was me for a big majority of my life. I was living my life as somebody that I didn't want to be, and I was asking myself, why am I still in the position that I was in 3, 4, 5 months ago? Why have I not changed at all as a person? And I knew that if I wasn't changing, then I'm not growing. And I asked myself, why is this? And the most evident answer to me was that I had no pressure on my life because everything was so comfortable. Everything was so comfortable. I had no pressure on my life to perform. I had no pressure on my life to actually make a name for myself and become better. One thing I started doing is I started representing my middle name. My whole entire life I've always been Noel Henriquez. Everyone just ignored my middle name. But now what I'm doing is, since I'm becoming a new person and I'm shifting my identity, I'm no longer just Noel Henriquez. I'm Noel Alexander Henriquez. because my parents gave me that name for a reason. So why do I ignore it every single chance I get? Why do I always forget, or in the past, why did I always forget that I had a middle name? I'm not just Noel Henriquez, I'm Noel Alexander Henriquez. And I think that Noel Alexander Henriquez is a whole different person than Noel Henriquez. Noel Henriquez was a slave to the vices. He didn't have true confidence because he cared about what other people think. He cared about what other people thought, because true confidence is going to stay regardless of what other people say or think about you. And the only reason why I was able to obtain this true confidence was because I'm able to take so many opinions of other people. I'm able to take backlash from so many people, and I don't let it affect me. And I stay unfazed, and I keep doing what needs to be done. I keep making the choices that I promised myself I would make. I keep promises to myself and to others. I'm a man of my word, and that is who Noel Alexander Henriquez is. Noel Alexander Henriquez is somebody who stands on his principles, stays true to himself, works even when he doesn't feel like working, sacrifices himself for others, sacrifices his feelings, wakes up early, doesn't sleep in, doesn't take the easy way out, sacrifices for his clients, goes above and beyond in every single area of his life, eats good, eats healthy, gets rid of the bad habits. He's an example for the people he has in his life. He's an example for his friends, his family. He's an example of others of how they should be. That is who Noel Alexander Henriquez is, and that is a whole different person to just Noel Henriquez. And I'm telling you guys this because it is a part of the identity shift. Because Noel Henriquez was the guy who was stuck in his comfort zone and didn't know how to get out. The truth is, I wanted to get out, but I just didn't know how, because I didn't make the effort, and my why wasn't big enough. One thing I always say is that stop asking how, because if your why is big enough, the how is going to manifest itself right in front of your face. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's the same way. Let me think of a good example. It's the same way how if you have to accomplish something, it's the same way how it's like if you have so much pressure on your life to do something, and that's self-imposed pressure. I've self-imposed so much pressure on myself to not be Noel Henriquez that I have no choice but to become a new person. Noel Henriquez used to drink, used to go out to the club, used to try to get with girls for no reason. And it's like, bro, that is a whole different person to who I am today. I'm not chasing those pointless things that don't fucking matter. Because what do I gain from going out and getting drunk and getting blackout drunk? What do I gain from that? What do I gain from that? What do I gain from that? If you genuinely value your life, you value your health, you value your time, why the fuck would you do that? And now Noel Alexander Henriquez values his time. He values all these things above everything else. He values himself. He places that self-respect on himself, and then that's what in turn makes other people respect him more. Guys, bro, let me check what time it is. Guys, one thing that has massively changed is the way other people navigate around me. People do not treat me the same way as they did when I was Noel Henriquez, because when I was Noel Henriquez, nobody even cared about what I had to say. I would speak and people would not listen. And I'm telling you guys this because this is the raw truth of what happened. I would speak when I was Noel Henriquez, but nobody would listen. People didn't value my opinion, and it was because of the life that I was living. And if the life I was living was not a life that is actually desirable, then why would anybody listen to what I have to say? But now people actually, when I speak, people actually listen to what I have to say, and it's because I'm a man of my word, and I put myself in situations that most people aren't willing to put themselves in. How many guys at 19 years old do you see waking up at 5 a.m. consistently doing 100 push-ups, going on a cold shower, then working out, then changing lives in Max Out Fitness Coaching, then doing all these things? Bro, nobody's doing it. And the truth is, that's what separates me from the crowd. That's what separates me from everybody. And the truth is, I don't want to be like everybody. I used to think I wanted to be like everybody. I used to think I wanted to fit in. And then the scarier that idea became, the longer I started living. The longer I was on this earth, I realized I don't want to be like these people at all. All these people that I thought I wanted to be like, in no way, shape, or form I want to be like at all. You know what I mean? And the bare minimum you can do as a guy is just be in good physical shape. That's it. It's the bare minimum you could do. The bare minimum you can do is value your health. You need to understand, it's 2025. Bro, 2025 is going to be like a year in the future that people think about, and it's either going to be, wow, in 2025, that is the year I changed my life and made massive change, or it's just going to be another year. Or 2025 is just going to be like, oh, 2022, 2021, or 2025 can be the year that people remember in the history books that you made a change and you actually transformed your life. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm making the conscious decision that this is the year that I'm going to make a change, because I was letting too much of my potential go to waste my whole entire life. I was letting too much of what I could have accomplished, what could have been. I could have done so much more, but I wanted to stay in my comfort zone and I want to fit in with the people around me. And at the same time, doing what I do comes with having a lot of haters. You guys don't understand. It's like, you think, it's like, bro, even your own family will hate on you. Everyone is gonna hate on you. Am I mad at them? No, because I understand that they don't understand what I'm doing. They don't understand the path that I'm on. And more times often than not, when people don't understand something, they feel the need to criticize and hate on it. And I'm not mad at them for it, and I understand. I don't understand it because it's not something I would do. But at the same time, I see why they think the way they do, because not everybody posts content. Who else at my age is posting content? Who else at my age is documenting their journey? Nobody's doing it. And you know, another thing I wanted to talk about is like some of the struggles that I have right now, because the truth is like, bro, I'm not perfect. You know, I feel like some people think I have everything figured out, when the truth is we're all the same. You know what I mean? You might see people that have accomplished the goals that you want to accomplish, that have everything that you want, that literally obtained everything from zero. Bro, they're in this. They're like, it's like the same thing. They still feel like there's more room for them to grow. And yes, they've learned a lot along the way. Yes, they have a massive amount of knowledge. But at the same time, a lot of people, you would be surprised, don't feel like they have everything figured out. And the truth is, do I have everything figured out? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't have everything figured out. But one thing about me is that I have the mentality that no matter what happens, I will figure it out. It doesn't matter what roadblocks pop up in my life, I will figure it out no matter what. But some of the struggles I'm going through right now is I'll sit down, right? I'll sit down at my desk. I'll have everything open. But it's like I just get stuck. And I'll start thinking of video ideas, and then I get stuck. But why do I get stuck? Because the thing is, that's normal, right? But why do I get stuck? I believe that the reason why, this is gonna sound really basic, but if I had my schedule built out from head to toe every single day, I believe that my headspace would be clear. And that's something I need to start doing. I need to be planning every single hour of my day. And that's something I've been slacking on. I haven't been planning every single hour. I've still been journaling. I've still been writing down the tasks that I have to do, but I haven't had, because the thing is, when you have a time limit on something, you have a deadline for something, motivates you 50 times more to do it. It's the same way how, you know, if your teacher gives you homework, if there's not a deadline on that homework, are you really going to do it? No. And the deadline also adds a bit of pressure. And I feel like today, specifically, I didn't have any pressure. I didn't put any pressure on myself because I didn't build out my schedule with things I had to do. Because if I knew I only had an hour to think of video ideas, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to optimize that hour and find the best possible ideas. And oh shit, damn, bro. Oh, that's so this car's annoying as fuck, bro. The fuck? My fault, bro. This person didn't let me go in. But yeah, guys. Tomorrow we have some amazing content. I'm super excited. I'm about to go Aaron to Miami. But we're about to film some fire content. I love going to Miami. I love spending time there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. That was basically everything that I had to get off my chest. I just love making these videos, kind of like a checkup on my headspace, my life, you know, just in case somebody else is in the same situation as me, and or a situation that I was in the past, and hopefully something that I'm talking about or saying can benefit you guys in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching the video. I love all of you. And yeah, let's get it. Peace out.